Assalamu alaikum. Friends, welcome back to the channel, The Faithful Academy. Today I'm back with another episode on the series, The Autism Awareness. As you know, I'm always researching and finding more information on special needs. I came across a website named massgeneral.org. So the Mass General for Children gave some facts on autism, and I wanted to share a few of them with you. It said though the term autism first appeared around 1911, the medical research on ASD for new discoveries and advancements started more in the late 20th century. Autism spectrum disorder, also known as ASD, is one of the fastest growing developmental disorder in the United States. It's more common than childhood cancer, diabetes, and more. Another fact was early behavior-based interventions have positive effects on some children with ASD and less noteworthy effects on other children. Another one is there is currently no medical cure for ASD. The one I thought was very interesting was parents do not and cannot cause ASD. Although the multiple causes of ASD are not known, it's known the parental behavior before, during, or after pregnancy don't cause ASD. I thought the facts were very interesting. There are more, but I just kind of picked out some of the one that caught my attention. And I do agree with all of them. Taking example of my son who is on this autism spectrum, number one, the early intervention, it did have a very positive effect on our lives. It taught us as parents a lot of tips, a lot of ways that we can cope with Miraj and also to help him learn more. It also helped our child to learn with different techniques. In the early intervention, they are the developmental therapist, the occupational therapist, the speech therapist, there's physical therapist, and social workers. There are a lot of things that they offer for the parents and the children with the special needs. And the last fact that I chose to share with you, the one that they point out that parents cannot and do not cause ASD, I like this one. It was very interesting because many parents going through the hard time of accepting that our children are now with special need. Many times parents tend to take it as their fault, something they must have done wrong or something that they could have done better in order to prevent this from happening. Okay, so now that I've shared some facts on autism with you from this website that I had come across, massgeneral.org, let's move on to the video that I have chose today to watch. It's from the channel Asim Al-Hakim, streamed 2 years ago. The speaker is Sheikh Asim. The title of this video is Mental Disorder and Types of Autism. Are they accountable to pray and fast? Let's get started.
A sister says, my son has a disorder which affects his mental ability to carry out tasks coherently. It is of an autistic nature. Is he obliged to pray and complete the pillars of Islam? And me, as his mother, should I do more to help him get a better understanding of Islam? Am I going to be sinful if I don't do this? He is 14, but has the mental age of 5 years old. Autism was not found or at least was not identified at the time of the Prophet ﷺ as it is today. It is stated that 1% of the children born are autistic. And there are levels of autism. There is a deficiency of 25%, a 50%, 75%. And psychiatrists and people that deal with such illnesses say that it ranges from inability to communicate with others, to look them straight in the eyes, to understand basic things, to a full range of disability that renders a person insane. So how do we judge such people? Well, in Islam, the Prophet ﷺ told us that the accountability pen, it has been uplifted from a person who's insane until he regains his sanity. So we have to now look at such a child or a boy who is autistic. Now, 14 years of age could have easily reached the age of puberty. So let's assume that he is an adult physically. If the person is 5 years brain wise, in this case, he's a child. He doesn't know what's good and what's bad for him. He's unable to take a good decision. He can't tell whether the person is a relative or evil. In this case, he's not accountable. You're not supposed to teach him how to pray or how to fast, and you're not obliged to force him to fast. He's not accountable. If the person has the ability to know what prayer is and how important it is, and he can make certain decisions for himself where he is not anymore classified as insane or does not have intellect. No, he is. But in a way, he can't write. He can't communicate with teachers or strangers, but he understands. He knows that fire is hot. He knows that when you're hungry, you eat, and how to prepare. He has this sanity in him. In this case, he's accountable. He must be taught how to fast and ordered to fast. And he must also be taught how to pray, and he is to be ordered to pray as well with the Muslims. So I hope this answers your question. Maybe you would ask, what about if he is sometimes like this and sometimes like that? The scholars gave an example of partial insanity. A person who all of a sudden just clicks and becomes insane for half a day or a day. And then the following day he's fine, he's communicating, he's talking to you with logic. So when he's insane, he's not accountable. Once he's awake, then he must pray and fast.
Subhanallah. The question was very interesting. It asked about having autistic child. Are we as parents sinful, not able to teach the children with special needs, especially with autism, to pray and fast? And the answer that Sheikh Asim gave was very clear, and it was very full of information. He mentions that autism was not identified in the time of Prophet ﷺ, but the hadith that he gave, it's a very beautiful one. When I heard this, it brought tears to my eyes, because that point I did have a question in my heart that if he's gonna have a hard time understanding right from wrong. How am I going to teach him to do certain things that we do in religious practice? And the hadith was very beautiful, to the point that the accountability pen is lifted on three places, and one of them is when a person is insane until it reaches its sanity. Now, in autism, the kids cannot make their own decisions from right and wrong. They can't understand the concept or the consequences of anything they will do. So therefore, the accountability pen is lifted. And that gives the parents that relief, in a way, that not to force them, and also take pressure on ourselves that how are we going to teach them, since Allah has taken away that responsibility from us. That is very comforting. I hope that watching this video gave you, and you can pass this on to your loved ones, whoever you come across, for the question that if kids with special needs, especially who can't make their own decisions, are they obliged to do these certain religious practices? That's it for today. Please don't forget to subscribe, and see you in the next video. Assalamu alaikum.